Many of Kaminario's customers are SaaS providers. What are the data center challenges that these companies face?
Sure, and you're right. Actually, the majority of Kaminario's customers are SaaS providers or similar on-demand application service providers. And really, these companies are unique in that they were built to scale, right? Their entire company, their entire business model is based on scale. Therefore, their infrastructure has to scale. So when they make decisions about storage, about broader infrastructure, it's always with that scalability in mind. Second, it's really about they compete on user experience. The switching costs of a large enterprise actually switching from one SaaS provider to the next is really low. So they really have to have consistently high user experiences. That means always introducing new advanced functionalities. That means always having extremely high performance. So their infrastructure strategy has to match this performance and this agility of functionality. And finally, it's all about cost. This is storage. Really, if you think about the infrastructure of a SaaS company, it's really the cost of goods sold for these types of companies. So, a very cost-effective strategy is important, and really this predictability of cost efficiency throughout the life of the business as they grow, as they scale, as they evolve their platform.
So given this key focus on cost, how do you recommend that SaaS providers manage this tension and this challenge to deliver great user experience and at the same time keep the costs extremely low?
Yeah, it's really, we think of it as something called the economics of performance, right? It's really easy, I guess, for a one-off project to go out and kind of do a little bit of analysis and pick the best solution for that point in time, that most cost-efficient, that delivers the kind of performance you need. But really, if you're trying to take the long view and understand how your application is going to change, as your user base is going to change, as more and more people are using more and more devices to get in, and the application delivery itself becomes more and more complicated, is thinking through how those things can change, and then thinking how the economics at scale work, and really the economics of continuing to deliver high performance as all of these new events come up, as these new scenarios, these new growth models start to play into that provider's requirements.
And presumably the provider has to also be thinking about new devices, new sources of bandwidth consumption, and at the same time, as the load increases, maintaining that very quick and responsive user experience.
It's true, and I would say even more than just network and bandwidth changes, it's really about functionality. I mean, these SaaS providers are always introducing new functionality. They're all very agile in the way that they respond to their own customers' demands by introducing new functionalities. Now, a lot of these new functionalities are based around real-time analytics or things like that. These actually put really complicated workloads on the infrastructure itself. So again, it's about choosing an infrastructure strategy that can be very agile, that can respond to these changes, that can deliver consistently high performance as the actual workloads change. And this is difficult for traditional infrastructure to do. And so that's why this new wave of infrastructure providers like Kaminario are really focused on this element of the technology.
This agility that you just mentioned, what is the difference between the traditional suppliers of infrastructure and modern infrastructure providers, and how do modern providers enable the SaaS vendors to provide this set of services?
Sure. Well, when we think about it in terms of agility, and really, from a developer standpoint, it's all about agile development. It's all about being extremely responsive to end user needs. We think about agility in a very similar way, and it's really, we believe infrastructure has to be agile in a few different ways. Number one, it has to be able to agilely support growth. So again, as you add new users, new devices, new requirements need to respond. As I said, you also need to be agile in the way of accommodating new functionality. If you were to layer on real-time analytics, that all of a sudden becomes a very different workload on a traditional database application. It's very different from kind of classic OLTP database type exercises when you are doing now real-time analytics. So the ability to respond to that is important. And then also there's a level of agility of being agile to adopt new technology, new hardware technologies, new software technologies as they come down. So the rate of evolution, of advancement in the underlying technologies that make up storage, whether it's processor tech or networking tech or actual drive tech, solid state disk tech, is incredible. So it's really important that the platforms that these SaaS vendors invest in can really be their platform over time. So as this new, say, flash drives become available, they're able to take advantage of the most cost-efficient, most high-performance, most functional underlying technology that they can. They're not locked into just they're not locked into a scenario where they have to throw everything out and bring a whole new platform in. They can really evolve with the times.
So there's a high degree of flexibility. The last thing I want to ask you is, so you talk to many customers, and your most successful customers, how are they managing these challenges?
No, it's a great question. They really, the most successful customers that we work with really look at storage and really at the entire data center as an extension of their application delivery strategy. So if you think about it, a SaaS company is sort of different from a traditional software company. Their product is both the functionality, the software that they deliver, but also the entire application stack behind that, right? So they're making some very strategic decisions. Now, the smallest SaaS vendors out there might build out on, say, Amazon or some sort of public cloud infrastructure. But as they reach scale, they start to realize that they can really have a strategic enabler, some real differentiation by optimizing their application delivery infrastructure, including storage. So they're optimizing it for performance, for low cost, for all the things that we've talked about. And so it's really the most successful SaaS vendors are thinking about storage as an enabler, and therefore they're investing the time to effectively design in these infrastructure technologies into their overall application strategy.
So storage becomes a core competency in addition to application domain knowledge.
Yeah, it really is the entire application delivery stack that has to be a part of that overall technology strategy of the modern SaaS or the modern application-driven company.
Josh Epstein, VP of Marketing at Kaminario. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Michael.